Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to be checking out the Walking Dead board game from Cryptozoic and AMC. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 15 and up, and it'll take you, about 30, 45 minutes to play. And in the Walking Dead board game, you're going to be taking control of one of 6 characters from the Walking Dead TV show, at least from Season 1. And you're going to be wandering on the board trying to get to 4 unique locations, dealing with encounters and zombies, and all the while trying to stay alive, because if you die, you will become a zombie yourself and try to kill your opponents. Sound intriguing? Let's open it up and see how it works. Alright, then we're going to be checking out The Walking Dead, the board game. And first and foremost, we have a handy dandy rule sheet. It is, 6 pages, double-sided, full color, and it's a pretty well-done rule sheet. It'll have you up and running pretty easily. It's by no means a complex game, and the rule sheet does its job. So in this game, you are going to be taking control of one of 6 characters from The Walking Dead that you'll recognize. You have Rick Grimes, and Andrea, and Lori Grimes, and Shane Walsh, and as you can tell, this is clearly from Season 1. And Glenn. And the only thing you really need to know about these are each person is going to have their own unique special ability they can use once per game. So, for instance, Dale, he's going to be able to shuffle any number of scrounge cards from your hand into the scrounge deck, then draw that many scrounge cards. But that doesn't mean anything to you right now. Rick Grimes, once per game on your turn, re-roll your attack die and add 2 to your roll. So he's going to be, obviously a BAMF. Once per game on your turn, re-roll your move die and add 2 to your roll. That's Andrea's special ability. So everyone's going to have a once per game special ability. Now, at the beginning of the game, everyone is going to be starting in this spot right in the middle called the camp. And before we get started, I do want to mention that this board does look weird. If it does, that's because it's actually like mouse pad material, which is interesting. It's a little bit warped. It's perfectly serviceable, but it's an odd choice, I thought, for the game itself. So let's go over the components, then we'll get into the gameplay. So you're going to have these little standees with your characters on them. There's also going to be some with some zombies on them that you're going to be doing, because in this game you can potentially become a zombie. But what you're trying to do in the game is you're trying to get to 4 locations and then get back to the camp without dying. So there's the CDC over here, there's an abandoned car lot over here, a department store, and then a police station. Now, you're going to be trying to go to those places, and when you go to those places, you're going to have to face terrible, terrible encounters. But if you're able to survive those encounters, then each place is going to give you something special that's going to help you survive, potentially. So let's get back to the components. There's going to be things called scrounge cards. So there's going to be a limited number of cards in the game, and generally these are either going to give you weapon strength or let you move a little bit more. So this one, Giddy Up, play after rolling your move die, add 3 to your rolls, because this is a roll and move game. An Axe, you can play this card after any survivor roll, so that's really unique because you might be down by 1, and this one can really help you survive and not lose an ally. Now, what's an ally? Well, it's a great question. Ally are going to be these little tokens right here. And for all intents and purposes, these are just going to be the health points in the game. Each person is going to start with 2 allies, aka 2 health points. If you ever lose both your allies and then you lose another health, well, guess what? You're dead, and you become part of Team Zombie, which is denoted by these tokens, these little round things right here, because there's Team Survivor and Team Zombie. But we'll get more into that in a second. So the other kind of cards you're going to have are encounter cards over here. And these are just going to be things you're going to draw pretty much every turn, and they're going to be bad stuff. Just bad things, just zombies trying to kill you. And the important thing to notice is they're going to have numbers down here, which are the numbers that you're going to need to either match or surpass in order to beat it. And they'll also have text on the bottom. So if you win this fight, put the bottom card of the scrounge deck pile into your hand. So that's going to give you a nice little added special ability. But if you lose it, you're going to lose one of your allies. So this one, personality conflict. Choose one, discard 2 random scrounge cards, or put one of your allies back into the ally pool. So that's a really bad card to get. Walker with entrails. I like the descriptive nature there. If you win this fight, draw a scrounge card. Now, how does fighting something work? Well, it's very, very simple, as you can imagine, in a roll and move game. essentially, before you roll the die, you're going to decide if you want to use any of the scrounge cards in your hand. So you might use this handgun. It's going to give you +3 to your die roll. You might use this axe, but you actually use this axe after you roll the die. You might use this sack of guns, and it's going to negate all frenzy effects this turn, because there are some special things that are going to happen on the encounter cards and on the walking cards. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay down that card, and then you're going to roll a die. If you have at least that number or more, you're going to win. Or if you get a 6, you automatically win an encounter. So there's always a chance that you can win an encounter, no matter what the situation, if you roll a 6. So that's kind of a nice little feature there. So I think we've gone over all the components except for the walker cards over here. Because as I mentioned, what can happen and what will happen is you will die. And when you die, you become a zombie. And when you become a zombie, you're going to first lose, you're going to lose the rest of that turn, and you're going to respawn next turn on that spot as a zombie. And you're going to draw 4 walker cards. Now these walker cards are generally going to have dual purposes on it. So that means if you attack someone, you're going to be doing a strength of 6. Or you can also utilize this card in order to kind of screw over the people that are still in the game. So roll a die, put that many cards from the scrounge decks into the scrounge discard pile. And once all these cards run out of the scrounge deck, what's going to happen is there's no more. You can't get any more. So that's a really powerful ability right there. Feasting Walker. This one's going to have a 7 strength here and remove an ally in the ally pool from the game, because similar to how the scrounge card deck works is once all the allies in the ally pool are gone, people can't gain more allies, which, as I mentioned, are health points. So one more thing I do want to mention right there is you're going to be starting with a limited number of scrounge cards. I believe it's 10 per player. So you're going to have extra scrounge cards, but trying to simulate, a post-apocalyptic thing, there's not as many supplies as you would like, and there's also not as many allies as you would like. So there's not an infinite number of those. So let's get down to the board right here. So we've gone over the components. What you're going to do is you're going to start at the camp, and you're going to roll and move in this game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, I roll a 3. I get to go in any direction I want to go 3 spaces. Now, there's some different spots on the board here. You'll notice there's some +1s and some +2s. If you finish landing on that spot, you're going to have a +1 or +2 attack when you draw an encounter card or when a zombie attacks you, so that's pretty nice. The nicest spot, arguably, is the no encounter spot, because that means when you go there, you are not going to have to draw an encounter. Whereas every place else pretty much on the board, I do believe everywhere, you're going to have to draw an encounter card. There's also spots that will let you draw a scrounge card, which will help you win, hopefully survive and win the game. There's also cards that will let you go take another turn. So you'll do your turn, and then you'll get another turn. So that's pretty nice. Now, another thing I want to mention are their sewers are right here. They're all around the board. Now, these sewers are only usable by the zombies. So if you turn into a zombie, this is going to be a nice little shortcut you can take to try and catch people. And once someone becomes a zombie, the game is definitely going to ramp up in difficulty because they're still going to get to roll and move. So if they roll a 6, they're going to be flying around the board. So as I mentioned, you are going to have to get all 4 of these 4 cards from these unique spots on the corners of the board. So let's go over what those cards are going to do. So each time you get to one of these spots, you have to stop, and you're going to have to draw 2 encounter cards and face 2 encounter cards. If you survive that ordeal, you're going to draw that card. It's going to give you a special ability. So the police station is going to add 1 to all of your attack rolls for the rest of the game. So that's really good. The department store is going to gain an ally. If you have no other location tiles, gain an additional ally. So if you go here first, you're going to be gaining 2 allies, which is really nice. That's 2 health points. Abandoned car lot. You may add 1 to your move rolls. You may. So you don't have to, but you may. So that's pretty nice. Then last but not least, they have the CDC. Choose one. Draw 2 scrounge cards, or put the bottom card of the scrounge discard pile into your hand if it's a really good card. So you're going to be trying to go make your way around the board, collect all 4 of the different cards, and then get back to the camp. If you can do that, then you're going to win the game. Now, in a 4-player game or a 3-player game, what's going to happen is that once someone becomes a zombie, they're actually going to be on Team Zombie, as I mentioned, and they're going to be on their own unique team. If someone else in a 4-player game dies or a 3-player game dies, then they're also going to be on Team Zombie. So there's actually kind of a team element there going. So as soon as a zombie dies, people are going to be on Team Survivor, which means you can exchange cards with other people on your turn to help them out. But that, in a nutshell, is how the Walking Dead board game is going to play. Alrighty then, The Walking Dead board game from AMC and Cryptozoic. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game is not going to be for everybody. It is just another zombie game. And also, it is a very simplistic game. This is roll and move mechanics. It has health points. You know, you just have to get to the 4 different points of the board. There's rolling for how much you move and how many points you do on damage, and that's going to be a big turnoff to a lot of people. Also, it's from season 1 of The Walking Dead, and quite a few of these characters are dead at this point in the game, so it feels a little bit outdated in that aspect. Also, the box insert, while it looks really nice, is actually pretty freaking terrible because it doesn't have the slot where you can stick your fingers to get the cards out, and it's really annoying, and you have to bang the box on the table to get them out, but that's more of a pet peeve than anything. Plays 1 to 4 players, so if you have a bigger gaming group, it might not be for you. And that's about all I have on the con side. Moving on to the pro side, I was torn. I didn't know which way I was going to go with this game, because it's by no means a spectacular game, but it's not a bad game. It's simple, and it doesn't try to do too much. I feel like if you had someone that you wanted to get into board games and they were a Walking Dead fan, this would be a great gateway game for them because everything is sound. Everything works. And it's kind of fun. It really is a somewhat enjoyable game. There's a lot of things I like in this game. So what do I like about it? First and foremost, I thought the lay down mat board was going to bug me. It didn't bug me at all. You know, it's neither here nor there. I think it's kind of a creative way to save space. Also, I liked all the artwork in the game, which were just pictures from the TV show, but I love the TV show, so obviously I was a big fan of that. I like how 6s can always save you, so even if you're down to your last scrounge card and you're facing a zombie horde of 10, if you can roll that 6, you can still beat it. I also like the thematicness of this game, whereas there's not an unlimited supply of allies, and there's not an unlimited supply of scrounge items, because, well, you know, in a real-life zombie apocalypse, that would be the case, and in the TV show, that is also the case, so I like that bit. The rule booklet is very well done, and I didn't mention them, but there are some other variants in there. There's a team variant, some other cool things, and I actually like how the team variant works, how, you know, once you become a zombie, you know, you can be working with another guy as a zombie, and you can both win. I like that aspect. This isn't a game where everyone can lose, which is going to make some people happy. I also like how the zombie cards work once you become a zombie. I like the fact that when you become a zombie, you feel really powerful, because those cards, you know, you're going to be able to use them not only to attack people, but also to do things that are really going to screw up other people's plans, and I like that a lot. So, The Walking Dead, the board game. I didn't know what to expect, honestly, from this game. I love the TV show, I love the comic, and I wanted to love this game, and I do like this game to a certain degree. But, is it a game that I'm going to keep in my collection? Probably not, because it's too light for me. But, if you like games that are on the lighter side, if you like the zombie theme, and if you consistently have 1 to 4 people playing the game, this one might be one worth checking out. One more thing I want to mention, the solo gameplay. I always like to comment on the solo gameplay because I enjoy solo games a lot. The solo game it's kind of fun. It's better for teaching you how to play the game than necessarily like one that you're going to be like, man, I can't wait to get home and play The Walking Dead solo. It's by no means an outstanding solo game, but it's by no means a terrible solo game. So that is The Walking Dead board game from Cryptozoic. One that I can say, if you're looking for a game like this, might just be for you. So, in the comments below, let me know, do you like The Walking Dead? And, if you do or don't, let me know a TV show that you would like to see recreated into a board game. For me personally, I'm trying to think. That's a tough one. I really should think about these questions before I ask them. I think I would like to see a wrestling game where it's all about the backstage kind of wrestling stuff, where you got to have wrestlers and you got to make sure that you're putting wrestlers together who are going to have good matches, and you have to worry about the crowd and all this other stuff. Maybe turn it into like a Euro theme. I don't know. It sounds crazy. It sounds out there. I'm sure somebody's going to make $1 million off it on Kickstarter, but that's what I do. What TV show would you like to see rethemed into a board game? And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, and thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the review for The Walking Dead board game. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bauer's Game Corner.